Welcome back, class 12. Today we'll resume the lesson 2 of your biology books, Sexual Reproduction in Flowering Plants. Now hope you remember this from the previous class. Here we'll just focus on the megasporophyll. Now the female spores or the megaspores are borne on special leaves known as megasporophylls. These special floral leaves are commonly known as pistils or in groups are known as gynoecium. So if pistil is megasporophyll, what is megasporangium? It is the ovule. The ovule will form megaspores which will give rise to the female gametophyte, and this will form the egg or the female gametes. So you can see that in angiosperms all gametophytic stages occur inside the ovule of the plant. Now let's dive in and find out about each of these. So today we'll try to understand the structure of pistil, that is gynoecium, megasporangium or ovule, megasporogenesis or the formation of megaspores, the structure of embryo sac or the female gametophyte. Also, I want you to remember the botanical terms for pistil, ovule and embryo sac. It will take some time to get used to these, but once you do, you'll find it easy to understand the sequence of events. So every time you revise this, remember pistil has to be megasporophyll, ovule megasporangium and embryo sac is the female gametophyte. Now, gynoecium is made of pistils. Now, pistil can be made up of one carpel or many carpels. If it is made of many carpels, those carpels can be either free or they can be fused together. So, when they are free, they are known as apocarpus, and when they are fused, they are known as syncarpus. Parts of pistil starting from the top. At the top is the stigma, which is the platform on which the pollens land after pollination. Then we have the style or the slender tube through which the pollen tube passes to reach the ovary or the ovule. The lowermost swollen part is the ovary. These three parts together make the pistil or the megasporophyll. The ovary contains the ovarian cavity with placenta. You've studied about placentation last year. So inside the ovarian cavity are locules containing the ovules. Now these locules may contain only one ovule, as in wheat, rice or mango, or they may contain many, as in papaya, watermelons or orchids. These ovules are the megasporangium, inside which megaspore will be formed. Now you know that ovules develop into seeds. So looking at the number of seeds and how it is attached in the fruits, you can guess the number of ovules and placentation in the ovary. Have a look. This is mango. Can you remember the inside of the mango? It has only one seed contained in one locule. And then we have papaya. See the number of seeds and the locules. You'll be able to guess the number of ovules and the number of locules. To get some perspective, this is the ovule inside the ovary. What is inside this ovule? Very simply, ovule has walls or integuments for protection. Inside the integuments is another wall layer known as nucellus for nutrition. Now inside the nucellus is a mass of cells known as megaspore mother cells, MMC. Some of these megaspore mother cells will develop into megaspores after undergoing reduction, division or meiosis, and this megaspore will develop into the female gametophyte or the embryo sac. Now can you see the similarities with the structure of microsporangium? wall layers, layers for nutrition, and the microspore which develops into the male gametophyte. But there are few very important differences, the most significant being number. In microsporangium, the number of microspore was huge in thousands, but here the megaspore is less in number, usually one, sometimes it may be 3 or 4. Now let's study the detailed structure. As we discussed, there are two integuments, the outer and the inner. Inside is the nucellus. The cells of nucellus have abundant cytoplasm and are rich in food reserves. Within nucellus is the megaspore. This megaspore will form the female gametophyte or embryo sac. Now besides these, you can see one more label at the bottom, the chalazal pole, and three more labels at the top, hilum, funicle and micropyle. Now, okay, funicle is the stalk with which the ovule is attached to the placenta. Hilum is the point where funicle joins the ovule. In a seed, you can see hilum as the scar where seed used to be attached inside the fruit. Next to hilum is the micropyle. It is also seen in the ovule. This is the pore on ovule from where male gametes are introduced into the ovule. Then at the bottom was the chalaza. The chalazal pole marks the side of ovule opposite to where micropyle is present. So it is in fact the opposite pole. Anatomically, chalaza is the place where integuments and nucellus merge. It contains the vascular tissue. Now in this ovule, you can see that micropyle is close to funicle, which means that the ovule has turned 180 degrees so that the hilum and micropyle come to lie next to each other and the integuments and the funicle are merged. This entire structure is the funicle and the integuments merged to the funicle. So it means that the ovule has turned 180 degrees. If this rotation does not take place, then we have a different structure. This structure is known as anatropous ovule. And if the rotation does not happen, we get an orthotropous ovule. Here in orthotropous ovule, this is the micropyle, this is the funicle, and this is the hilum. So you can see all these three lie in a straight line from top to bottom, and the funicle is not merged with the integument. This is the outer integument, this is the inner integument, and funicle is not merged with the integuments. Here you can see that the funicle goes up till here and the ovule is turned 180 degree. So the funicle is merged with the outer and the inner integuments. Now can you see the position of chalazal pole in both? In both cases it is away from the micropyle. Now why we are studying anatropous ovules? Because 80% of the plants, both dicot and monocots, have anatropous ovules. Now can you make a table with differences between these two types of ovules? Now we come to megasporogenesis or formation of megaspores from megaspore mother cells. One megaspore mother cell in micropylar region will prepare for forming megaspore. This one will get rich in cytoplasm, develop a prominent nucleus and undergo meiosis. Now you know why meiosis. So now as a result of meiosis, it will form 4 megaspores. But 3 of these will degenerate and only one remains functional. This functional one will develop into the female gametophyte. Now here only one megaspore develops into the entire female gametophyte. This type of development of embryo sac or female gametophyte is known as monosporic development, that is development from a single spore. Now we'll see the formation of female gametophyte through a set of animations, starting with a single nucleus, that is the megaspore nucleus. Now let's mark the two ends as the micropylar pole and the chalazal pore. What you'll be seeing is a set of events which are division of this nucleus. Remember, this is only the karyokinesis or division of nucleus and not cytokinesis or cell division. So every time there is a division, only the nucleus divides and the divisions are mitotic. Now the nucleus divides, two nuclei are formed. They move to opposite poles, one to the micropylar end and the other to the chalazal end. Now these two nuclei divide twice again to form 2 and then 4 nuclei. So overall 8 nucleate stage is reached. Once this is done, 1 nuclei from each pole moves to center. Remember this, 3 nuclei at each of the poles and 2 nuclei in the center. Now at this stage you have a structure with 8 nuclei, single cell, 8 nuclei. Now at this stage cytokinesis starts. Cell wall is laid down, but here not each cell gets its own cell wall. The 3 cells that remain at chalazal end get the cell wall and are known as antipodals. So 3 antipodal cells at the chalazal pole. The 3 cells at the micropylar end get their cell walls. Of these, 2 form synergids and 1 forms the female gamete or the egg cell. So 3 cells at the micropylar end. Now the 2 nuclei in the center do not get their own cell wall. They remain in the cytoplasm of the original microspore cell, forming a binucleate cell, that is a cell with 2 nuclei. These 2 nuclei are known as the polar nuclei. So we get 7 cell structure, 3, 3, 6 and 1 with the 2 polar nuclei. So we have a 7 cell structure but a 8 nuclei structure. The structure of mature female gametophyte appears finely like this. At the top is the chalazal end with the 3 antipodals. In the center is the central cell with 2 polar nuclei. And at the bottom is the micropylar end with 3 cells. On the 2 sides, in between is the egg cell and on the 2 sides are the synergids. These synergids have filiform apparatus. This entire structure at the micropylar end is known as the egg apparatus. Now, this is the sequential stages of development of female gametophyte or embryo sac as given in your book. The micropylar, there is a megaspore mother cell with the micropylar end marked nucellus. The megaspore mother cell divides to form 2 and then 4 tetrad structure. Out of these 4, only 1 remains functional, the 3 degenerate. So monosporic development. The one that remains will start to divide like this, 8 cells, 8 nucleate structure. Out of these 8 nuclei, 3 remain at the micropylar end, 3 at the antipodal end and 2 move in the center. Now there is a problem here. This diagram and this last diagram, the ends are reversed. In this the micropylar end is shown at the top and here the chalazal end is shown at the top. Micropylar end has gone at the bottom. So while practicing or making these diagrams, keep this in mind. Now here are the respective roles of the cells in embryo sac. We'll be doing these roles in further detail when we study fertilization and post-fertilization even. But right now for this session, we'll stop here only. And for the assignment, You write 5 takeaway points from this session. Here are the questions that you need to solve as revision for this session. Make your notes, revise, and then try solving these. Good luck. Keep learning.